Labor Day weekend. Some people are not too happy. The end of summer is here, as you've been hearing. A bunch of us came back from Guyana not too long ago. We were thinking the temperature here is almost the same there, so for a minute we got fooled. But maybe we forgot that winter is coming very soon. Before we know it, we'll be all bundled up. Now, this is getting back to the Labor Day celebration. I know over on Eastern Parkway, many will be gyrating on Monday. It's an opportunity to see who can wear the least amount of clothes, jump up behind the big truck, the kind of truck you can hear coming from a couple blocks away. Now, you might be surprised to know how these celebrations got started. How this practice got started, you might say. Or some might say they don't really care how the practice got started. But sometimes it's useful to look into history and just go behind what these particular events. Now, this particular one did not have a good origin. And so right before the start of Lent, in Italy actually, this got started years ago, there was a wild costume festival because the next day was Lent. And so they had to have this big celebration, put on different clothes, they talk differently, and they have this big jump up, and then they would have to now wear different clothes, put on more clothes perhaps. Now, if you think about that for a minute, if you have to go all out because the next day you're going to start being good. Now, if that's the way you operate, what kind of person would you class yourself as? I would call it a temporary worshiper. It's like a summer job. Over at your college, we employ a couple of youth. We call it the summer youth employment. Well, you didn't apply. But over the summer, they come in, they dress nicely, they're very mannerly, good morning, they come to work on time. And once they collect the check, the summer is over, they're gone. Back to high school, back to dressing the way they like to dress. Now, if that's the way that we're going to treat God, a part-time gig, a summer gig, and over the summertime, well, this is what they do. So is that the way that we want to operate? Of course, a little celebration is not evil. You know, if you have a cause to celebrate, you have a wedding to go to, somebody invites you. But the problem comes when you get carried away. What should we be addicted to? 1 Corinthians 16 verse 15. It talks about being addicted to the ministry of the saints. That's an addiction I wish we all had. Addicted to the ministry of the saints. Where you can't help but tell people about this wonderful gospel message. You can't help but invite your neighbor just to listen to a Bible class. And if you don't have any neighbors or friends to invite, then help somebody else to do it. Help out somebody else. And if you don't want to tell people about this wonderful gospel, that you believe that Jesus is coming, that you've got to get baptized, that you've got to stop living for ourselves and live for Jesus. If that is not your style, then assist someone else. If they need transportation, they need food. There are all kinds of expenses that come with being addicted to the ministry of the saints. I asked students over at your college, what would you do for free? It would be something that you really enjoy doing. It would be something that you're passionate about. So we have to try and figure out what is your passion. And more than that, let's go a step further, how you arrive at that passion. Well, first of all, you got your upbringing. If you're brought up in a bad neighborhood, where all you're hearing is gunshots and people getting stabbed, then after a while you become accustomed to things like that. You become numb. You might see these things happening and might not even bother you anymore. So your upbringing has to do with your passion. Your friendships. And we all have Facebook and we have MySpace. We used to have High Five. But if you're going to put pictures on these websites, now let's say, for example, Naomi, you're trying to get a job. And I, as an employer, go on and I see you lying half naked, beer bottles all around you. You think I would hire you? No. Now, she might be a very good person, but that one picture has created a bias in my mind. And as an employer, I would just click next and go on to the next person. So we have to be very careful about the image that we put out there. So, friendship. Family also has to do a big role in your values, your passion. Your family members usually have a great influence in terms of telling you what to do. They might say to you, well, look at your brother, he's a big, CEO or a big chief of the company. How are you going to go work in a store? What kind of thing is this? They influence you to go for that degree. Do better for yourself. And of course, the Bible, that's our greatest influence. This book has more than enough than we can ever need. So let's rely on it.